Think AI's bubble is about to burst and that you've missed your chance? Then you couldn't be more wrong. You're actually perfectly timed, and here's why. In 2026, AI stops being hype and starts being practical. And in the next 10 minutes, you're going to have your first real AI conversation. No tech background, no coding, just you and a simple conversation that actually works using artificial intelligence. Before we jump into actually using the AI today, what I want to talk about is thinking of AI a little bit like a car. It's important to understand when you learn to drive a car that you need to be able to operate it safely and that you know how to navigate your way using the car. However, in order to be able to drive a car safely, you do not need to understand the full ins and outs of how the machine works, of how the engine works, or everything that's going on under the bonnet. Sure, a little bit of useful knowledge about how to replace your oil or how to check your brakes definitely helps, but you can always go to an expert to get that. AI is very similar. So what we're not talking about in this lesson is how to build your own large language model or your own AI agent. What we're talking about here is real basics of how to drive AI. Like cars, AI also has different makes and models. So whilst in cars you might have Toyotas, Fords and BMWs, in AI we've got ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. Each of these different makes of AI also have models, just in the same way that BMW have 3 series and 5 series, ChatGPT will have a deep thinking versus a quick model, and Claude will have Sonnet versus Opus. I'm not going to go into the huge differences and when you should use or shouldn't use these different models at this point. All I want to cover today is the real basics of just getting started and having a go. So the first thing we're going to do is open up a browser window, anything like Google Chrome, Brave, Safari, or Microsoft's Edge browser. We're going to go either to Google search, and you can type in a search for ChatGPT, or we can head over and we can go to Google or any search bar and search for ChatGPT, or we can type chatgpt.com into the URL bar at the top. Here I already have it as a favorite, so I'm just going to click here. And this is the window that you're going to see. And you can see at the top here, we've got a login and we're not logged in at the moment. Along this left-hand side here, we've got a menu bar and we can hide it by pressing this button. And then we've got essentially a text box here. So you can think of this a little bit like any other chat window, like WhatsApp chat. It's very simple to use, and we're going to do that right now. Now, it's asking you here, what can I help with? And it's giving you some ideas in different languages. You've also got some example buttons here, and I don't really want you to worry about any of this. All we want to do is come straight into the text box here, and we're going to just start typing. At this point, I don't really want you to overthink because it doesn't really matter what we're going to put in here. What I would say is don't put any personal details in. Keep it vague, keep it simple. We're just learning how to use ChatGPT. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to ask it a question. Hey, how can you help me? And then I'm going to press enter, and it's as simple as that. We're going to get started. And what you can now see is that it's literally answering you in real time, and it's giving you some information about, in this case, it's answering my question, which is, how can you help me? Now you can ask it a totally different question. You could ask it, what job should I go into in the future? How do I decide which book to read next? You could ask it a million different things on a million different topics. And if it doesn't know the answer, it's pretty good at telling you. But here you go. Here's a classic response. So now we've got an initial response here and lots of information. Now what we've done here at the top by asking it a question in AI speak is called a prompt. So what we've just done is we've given it a prompt, and the prompt in this case was, how can you help me? And we've now got a response, and you can see here that AI has responded, and we are able to then pivot and continue that conversation in natural flow. Now, before we reply to the AI, what you can see down here at the bottom are a number of different tabs that have popped up. We can attach a document. So for example, we could click here and we could choose to attach our CV and ask AI to review our CV. And we could possibly attach a job spec and ask AI how closely we think we currently map our CV to the job spec. We can use search. So now we've got the ability, which we didn't have last year, for AI to in real time connect to the internet and review and understand information which is happening in real time, whether it's news events, whether it's other websites. It can actually find information which is current. This is a massive step up from last year, and one of the main reasons why AI has become even more powerful at the latter end of this year. The next option is to press the study button, and as you might expect, this turns AI into a kind of study buddy and helps you to understand and learn. So if you're a student or an academic, this is a great opportunity for you to use AI in a constructive manner. Rather than using it to try and cheat the system, you can use it to help you actually be the best version of yourself in an educational context. And finally, we've got the create image option down here, which we're not going to go over in this lesson because this is just about the basics of text. It's also really important to note that whilst AI is very good, like a human, it can never be always correct. Also, like a human, AI can be confidently wrong. It will tell you things at times which it believes to be true, which are not actually true. So it's always worth verifying the information that you found from AI with a second source, ideally a source that you do trust, like a trusted news outlet or a website that you do trust, or even a third party. You also don't need to be a perfectionist when it comes to using AI. It's better to just get started and refine the process as you go through the conversation than it is to try and have a perfect conversation, at least while you're learning. For today's example, I'm going to use the example to help plan an event. So I've just had a very quick think and I've come up with the suggestion that I want to plan a family holiday from the UK to Japan, and we've never been before. Saying there are 2 adults and 2 children, 1 teenager, 1 under 10, and we want to have a 5-day holiday, not including travel, and see the classic tourist spots, enjoy Japanese food and culture. I've said also suggest potential stop-off points for both directions to break up the journey with an overnight stop. And as you can see, ChatGPT has now come up with a response, and it said, here's a ready-to-use 5-day Japan itinerary, plus family-friendly stopover ideas. And it's given us all the information we could want. It's given us some stopover options in both directions, and it's given us the 5-day Japan itinerary. And I'm not sure if this is good, so if you've been to Japan and you recommend any of this, then please let me know in the comments below. Food you should try, ramen, sushi. Yep, definitely enjoy those. Teriyaki, another good one. Family-friendly accommodation ideas, transport tips, and then tips for traveling with children. Cool. Okay, so it's given us something there. It might be that this is good enough, or it might be that we want to dig into it further, and I leave you to continue that conversation. Before we wrap up this lesson, the final thing I want to cover is paid versus free. At the moment, I've purposefully just jumped onto chatgpt.com. As you can see at the top right here, it says log in and sign up for free. Now, I haven't logged in at this point in time, and I've purposefully not done so to demonstrate the ease and speed at which you can just use ChatGPT right now for free very, very quickly. However, signing up for free can be very useful. It allows you to have conversation history so you can pause it and carry on with it later. If you close this window now without signing in, you've lost all this information. So be sure to copy and paste it to somewhere where you can keep it, or sign up for free. For $20 a month at the time of recording this video, you will get a significantly better experience. You can also ask ChatGPT not to use your data and your information that you're sharing with ChatGPT to train its agent. Now, if you're not putting anything sensitive or personally important to you, then you might feel that that's fine and you're willing to trade the information that you put into ChatGPT in return for getting it for free. And that's a deal which only you can decide as to whether or not it's worthwhile doing for you. However, for the price of $20, which I'd suggest is a fairly cheap night out, you don't only get the privacy advantages, but you also get the better, faster models that are more intelligent and up to date. I will go into more details about the paid tiers in later lessons, but for today, 100% free, no credit cards needed, not even signing up. I've purposefully not given very detailed questions, or prompts as we call them, in this video. It's not an accident. I've done it on purpose because I just want people to get started. So if you're a prompt expert and you want to comment in the comments below how you think you should prompt AI, by all means do so and provide value to other people that are watching this video. However, I will go into more details about how I prompt and the best ways to get value from AI in future videos. But right now, we're just learning how to turn on the engine and get the car started. If you found this video useful, then drop a like on it to let me know that this is the kind of content that you find useful. Hit the subscribe button to get notified about the next lesson where we'll compare ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Grok to learn which is the best car for the job.